Welcome, Jamie. We're excited to have you for our Chambers Cornerstone conversation here in the Origin Bank podcast room. Jamie is the powerhouse behind Jamie Dendy Consulting, a woman owned business that's all about helping other businesses grow, scale, and get financially strong. With nearly 24 years of experience as a certified QuickBooks Pro advisor, Jamie brings deep expertise, a strategic mind, and a personality that makes even the numbers fun. She's built her own business by helping others build theirs. And today we're diving in onto how she does it all.
Good morning. Welcome. How are you?
Good morning. 24 years. We're the same age. How do we have 24 years in anything?
I was thinking when you said that, and I was like, I've been doing this since 2000.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
25 years.
Okay. Well, let's start with that story.
That's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it makes it my age for sure. Whatever.
I know. When did this happen where we can say we've done something for 20
for that many years? Yeah, half a century.
Okay, so but how did you first get into accounting, and what made you decide to launch your own business full time in 2018? Is that correct?
2018, 2017 was when I actually started it. It was when I had my son, and I was a full-time employee. Did the W-2 thing for several years, working my way up into the different understandings of businesses. Working for family wealth offices was really where I started understanding a lot of that with taxes and that sort of thing. And then decided once I had my son that I wanted to be more flexible and have more time at home with him. If you're an entrepreneur, you know that is not always the case, but that was the initial thought in that, and just helping people understand their finances and being able to help more individual business owners in that aspect.
Have a little bit more flexibility and a range where you could do more yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, you've been doing this, like we just said, for over 2 decades. Mm-hmm. What keeps you going? What keeps you passionate?
I think honestly, it's the helping people with their dreams. When we, helping businesses from the ground up is kind of our motto, if you will, and being able to have somebody come in and say, I have this idea and I want to turn it into something that I can make a living at. They always say, what's the saying? Find something that you love and figure out a way to make money at it.
We were just talking about that earlier.
Yes.
And so it feels like you're never working.
Yeah, exactly. And so when somebody comes in and they're like, I have this idea, but I don't know how to put it into fruition, we help them come up with the business plan. We help them do all the compliance pieces of it because, there's a lot of things that people just don't know that they don't know.
Exactly.
That's a constant. Every single day I say that. You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know where to direct, to get that information sometimes. And so we found that we're really good. Our office and our team is a really good resource for tools for our clients. And so we kind of, if we don't have the answer or we haven't done it before, we have the resources to direct them in the right places to get the answers to that and help them.
Because we get calls every day. I want to start a business, but I don't know where to start. I'm like,
we do.
Yeah,
we do. I mean, people have a passion. They want to do something that they know, but
that doesn't always mean that is a business.
They know how to do business. They don't know how to do the accounting. They don't know how to do the payroll. They don't know how to do taxes. I've found myself there in that position before. So whenever someone comes to you and they have this dream, you can say, okay, you can do your dream, but let me show you how to do your dream and actually make money
at it. And I think the biggest part is as many people, and we always say as many people that come in that want to start a business and we help them, we also talk people out of it. And the main reason is because the fact that you have to know your why. That is like the number one question when we have meetings with clients is, what is your reasoning behind that? What is your why? Because entrepreneurship is hard. It is a roller coaster. I was laughing this morning, actually, to be a little vulnerable. And I was like, I'm going to talk on a podcast about how wonderful and great my business is and all. And I was like, and I'm in a mode of like, I want to burn it to the ground right now.
It is a real thing.
It is. And you have to be,
it's hard.
Yeah, you have to be realistic. And that's the realistic part of it. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. You have those roller coaster days where it's up and you're like, oh, I'm so blessed and I'm so thankful. And then the days where you're just like, oh my God,
I want to do something else.
It's so, I want to go have somebody else be the boss.
Yeah. Yes, 1,000%.
It is so true. So
and
true.
And the phone doesn't stop ringing whenever it's your business.
The difference,
not something you can leave at 5 o'clock every afternoon.
Right. And I was going to say the difference is whenever I started the business in 2018, I was solo. did it by myself. 2022 was really whenever I started taking on and hiring employees, not just, consultants or interns. And so having a team has been by far, I would say, one of the biggest blessings. Being able to delegate those things out that, you can't do it all on your own. And that brings with it its own issues and its own, struggles and stuff. But it's one that we can, help more people. And I think that's where I go with my mission and being able to help.
It makes it worth it even when it gets tough.
Yeah. You have an all-female crew. How many workers do you have?
So we have 7. We actually, I won't say all female because my husband does work.
Okay.
He does work in the business now. Retired him in, I guess, February of this year. He's in the healthcare industry as a nurse for 21 years.
Yes. Yes.
So having him be more involved in the business, because we have multiple businesses as far as the Jamie Dendy Consulting, where we help other businesses, but we also have real estate investments and we have merchant services, a lot of different things. And so he has been pivotal in that aspect. But the main one is what he loves most is being dad and getting to spend more time with the boys because he worked nights for those 21 years. So it has changed the game. But as far as the team goes, yes, it is pretty much all women. We've had men. That's not.
It
wasn't on purpose. Yeah, it was not done on intentionally. Yeah, it was not done intentionally. But there's a dynamic with that, and understanding the culture of what I wanted to create. One of the things that I love about being an entrepreneur and being in that role of helping other businesses and things is we're not corporate. And so we get to make, if I wake up tomorrow and I'm like, what, we don't want to do this anymore. We get to make that decision. We want to have, every week, Monday and Thursday, we have our morning meetings in the office and we start it with devotion and with prayer. And that's something that you can't do in every business. Yeah. And so that's something that really means a lot to me, and bringing that impact to not just my family, but also
to your team,
to my team, and having that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So QuickBooks is your specialty. It is not my specialty.
Not a lot of people's.
I mean, I have learned, but it is not my specialty. So what are the most common mistakes that you see clients make, and how do you help them kind of teach them in the teachable moments? There's so many things you can do with QuickBooks, and there are so many mistakes that you can make. So what do you see the most? Because a lot of people use QuickBooks, a lot of small businesses.
I would say almost 90%.
Yes.
And people are like, oh, I'm not big enough yet to have QuickBooks. And I'm like, they've got really cheap versions of it up to, and I tell people, I'm like, whether you're making $10,000 a year or $100 million a year, people use QuickBooks.
Yes.
And there's a lot of softwares that integrate with it. And so I would say the biggest thing with QuickBooks that I want people to know is how it's set up and how you are trained on it from the get-go is the key. I am a QuickBooks reseller, which there's only 2 in North Louisiana. One is Shreveport.
That is very interesting. Okay.
And so we have like a whole thing where we actually sell the products, and I pass that discount on to clients. And so that's the key with when they call and they're like, hey, I set up QuickBooks and I need help. And I'm like, I can't give you the discount once the account's set up. It has to be done from the get-go.
So if anyone needs QuickBooks, don't buy it. Go see Jamie.
Go see
Jamie first.
Call me. Yes, get that discount because it is for the life of the subscription, as it goes, versus the online things are like, 30, what is it, like 3 months or something. Will be 3 months, 50% off or, for free or something. They've got those out there, but after that it goes up. So I would say basically the setup of it, because, with anything that you do, if you don't have a good foundation, it just goes downhill from there. Mm-hmm. And normally people will call and I'll, sometimes pricing wise, it's an investment because it is one that if you don't set it up correctly, 3 months, 6 months later, you're going to call somebody, if not me, and ask, I don't know what I'm doing and I got in over my head. And then we have to basically charge to undo and fix it or start over. And it gets very time consuming and expensive on everybody's part. And so when we do the initial consultation to discuss that, we put into what we call a diagnostic call, and we have a conversation of what are your plans? What are your goals? Hence, what is your why kind of thing? Because I want to know, are you planning on growing this to scale it to pass it to your kids? Are you growing it to sell it? Are you growing the entity structure that we decide on and how we set up QuickBooks and stuff? I want to scale it. I want to set the system up for scalability. If you do it and you're like, oh, we only have 100 items, but 10 years from now, we're going to have, 100,000 items. There's a way that it needs to be done correctly.
From
And
the
so
get-go.
setting it up from the ground up in the correct way so that you have that. And then just understanding and getting the clarity on, I think it's one that QuickBooks touts itself as a user-friendly, and it is very user-friendly.
It is user-friendly if you do it correctly.
The problem is
from the
that it
beginning.
has so many features, and one that I hear all the time. I'll use this example. I could go and change my oil in my truck. I can go watch YouTube videos. I can figure out how to do stuff, but it's probably going to take me a lot longer. I'm going to make some mistakes. It's going to cost me money. And at the end of the day, I might mess something up and end up having to call a professional in at the end of it. So that's where we're at. We're the professionals that you can call and basically get it set up, get the training that you need to make sure that you're doing it right from the get-go, so that you don't have to back into the fix-its and know your numbers from the
makes so much sense.
From the beginning.
That's, technology is,
and it's changing every single day. QuickBooks especially, every time we log in, we're like, oh, this is a new feature. This is new. And I'm like, I've got to now research and learn this. And so YouTube videos is where a lot of people go, or QuickBooks for Dummies or whatever it is. And the problem is that they're on the essentials, and what the video is on plus, so they don't even see that feature.
They don't even know.
Or now it's moved to a different place,
Yes.
and so that video is outdated already after 2 months.
Just call Jamie. Just call Jamie. Just call Jamie if you need QuickBooks. If you have QuickBooks, just
we
make
love
the
QuickBooks.
call.
It does. It is
Make the
can be the
call.
pain at times, but QuickBooks is the industry standard, and it's just one of those you got to know the ins and outs on it.
it's running a business is blood, sweat, and tears. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced early on, and how did you push through those?
I'm a helper. I'm a people person. I want to help everybody. And I think that would be one of the biggest things of I can help everybody. That was it was the purpose and the mission behind my, starting of the business of I have this information, this knowledge, these resources, and I know how to do it. Just go help these people. Not everybody's a good fit. I had to work for years to figure out who our target customers were and narrow that down. And so we do have people that call, and I'm like, I want to help. And I get stuck in that sometimes because I'm like, I know we can, but is it the best, time
it's the best for you
us and our
for
team?
them.
Absolutely.
Well, that's like when you said earlier, you talk people out of business. I was like, well, that's pretty bold, but and that is a skill you have to learn. That is a challenge to be able to say, hey, I got to be honest. Right?
Absolutely. Because it's not one, they have a dream, and who wants to be the
I'm gonna
squasher of
squash
dreams?
Yes.
You're like the builder of dreams. So you've had to learn to be the squasher of dreams.
Exactly.
But I feel that they walk away and they're like, she saved me, or she gave me insight that I didn't think about.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because like I said at the beginning, not everything can be a business. It might need to be a nonprofit, and it might need to be something that you just do, or you partner with somebody. And that's where some of those, sometimes I've had literally where somebody wanted to start selling, bread or sweets or whatever. And I was like, instead of you trying to do a retail store or something that you just don't have the ability to do right now, let's start somewhere else, and let's do that as wholesale to one of our clients and have them, partner up. And so anytime we have a plethora of clients in different industries and things. And so I'm always trying to coordinate, they have a service or a product that this client needs. And so you need to call them, and including that community over competition.
Yeah,
is one that I stand
that's
behind.
genuine advice for the betterment of them. It's genuine advice, and even though it's hard to say it sometimes, maybe, but that's good. That's good. I appreciate that. I do. I really do. I know that's got to be tough.
And it sounds all
be
glamorous at first too. It's like, oh, I want to do this and run my own business, and then it's like you said, it's like, what did I get myself into? Or there's days that it's like, this is not what I want to wake up and face.
And that's where I would say for our clients that we do work with, we are a partner in their business. That is one, just entrepreneurs in general, it's so hard to find community, as far as somebody to call. You have your friends and you have your church and you have your family and stuff, but calling, and whether it's a loss or a win, calling them and being like, hey, I just sold this to, somebody, or I just got this order, or I just failed miserably with whatever it is. When you call your friend that maybe isn't a business owner, they don't get excited as they would if it was an entrepreneur,
Yes.
And so that's where they call us, and we get to celebrate with them or help them through the problems in that aspect. So I think that partnership is the biggest part that I want to be the, how do you say it? When clients have questions or when they have something, I want them to call us first. I'm going to buy a vehicle. Should I do this? I'm going to, I'm fixing to make this financial investment. We tell people that all the time, like as far as your CPA, which we are not a CPA firm. We don't do tax prep. We do all of the other things. But when they call us and they're like, is this a good business decision? How I should, handle this? And it's so we can guide them, because better to do it beforehand than to call after,
And say, I did this.
Oops, I did this. And then we have to figure out how can we afford that, or how can we, was this the most tax beneficial thing or something? So the partnership in that aspect of making that trust with our customers, to where they look at us as a partner and they contact us, and as all of them become friends. I mean, in reality, it's a family thing.
Consultant, you're like a coach. Like you're in the game with them. Like if it's a win or if it's a loss, like you're in the game with them. You celebrate the wins, and you have to kind of
absolutely
get it on them.
Be realistic with it and go, I know you really want to do this, but it's like with the budget and with this, let's push it down and let's plan and let's have strategy and goals behind it. And that's where we really work together hard with them on looking at the numbers and understanding, again, garbage in, garbage out. Everybody's kind of heard that. If the QuickBooks isn't set up right and your information that's going in there is not accurate when you're running numbers to help you figure out where you're at in your business to where you want to go, it's really hard. So we try to get that clarity for them so that they understand it. And I think that would be the biggest win for me, of having the client say, oh, get it. And that light bulb goes off and they're like, thank you. Because how many times I get calls from, I met with my CPA and I walked away more confused because I didn't understand, and I asked a question and I didn't get an answer exactly how I wanted it. Yeah. And so I always tell them, I'm like, no offense, but I like to dumb it down. And I'm going to talk on my level.
Well, I mean, if
it
helps.
Yes.
I think they appreciate that when they walk away. Every time we have a meeting, I'm like, did you get value from this? And they're like, I have clarity. I have, a strategy. I have a goal. I have a plan now. And thank you for helping me to get to that point. And that's when I know it was a good meeting.
Yeah, it was a good meeting.
Day. I've had a good day.
Yeah. So, I mean, having these businesses on your shoulder, like, not just your business, but like, is it sometimes like hard to sleep at night when you're worried about one of your businesses, or do you get just as excited celebrating wins for your businesses? So it's like you have your business, but then you have all of these businesses that you care about so much too. So it's a like a quadruple win.
That is one that's so hard because you can't do it.
Yeah.
I tell my team all the time, I'm like, we are their partner and we can help and consult and direct. We're not their babysitter. Yes. We can't do it for them. We can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves. And so that's where like trying to give them the tools and give them that. And I'm so passionate about that because it is one that I see so much potential in so many people, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's just like getting them to see it and to have that confidence and empower them. And it's hard. Yeah. It's so hard because everybody has past and a different life, and they're all in different industries, and they have trauma, of why they do things that they do. And us trying to, when you say coach or consultant, which is a coach, funny enough, we have like the chairs in my office that are reclining chairs. They're therapy sessions. Yeah. I mean, because it is, again, when I said you can't just call your friend to talk about some of the hiring issues with employees or with the money struggles you don't want to share with everybody, but they can come in and we have therapy sessions of how are we going to dig out of this hole and what are we going to do. So a lot of times it's
you have it on your
I'm a
shoulders.
therapist and I have that on my shoulders, and I try to not as far as the struggles in business, I would say that is one that's the hardest. Of I can't take it on as my own problem.
That would be tough. That would be tough.
Give them the tools, but can't do it for them.
Okay, so what is one thing, pretty simple thing, just like a simple advice you think every business should know about their finances, but often doesn't?
cash flow, people look at the profit and they're like, oh, I'm making a profit. But that's not always the case. And so being able to cash flow and understand cash flow and how that works, understanding how to read your financials and that aspect. But again, go back to garbage in, garbage out. So if it's not in there correctly, or if there's duplicates, we see a lot of times when it's set up and they're doing the things that they're doing in there, or have someone doing it, there's duplications or overstated income or under, and so when they look at those numbers, they think that they're being profitable, but then they look at their bank balance and they're like, that doesn't add.
Wait, this doesn't look the same. Yeah.
And so giving, I would say that would be the number one. It all kind of ties back to the initial setup of, it's not to say it's never too late to start and getting a handle on it. And that's where people are like, oh, it's not tax season, so y'all must not be that busy. And I'm like, we're very busy now because people have
messed up their taxes.
Yes. People have cleanups and need help getting it straightened out and everything. Absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does. Technology is ever changing. How do you stay current on all of this? And do you have any favorite tools, trends, or resources that you lean on?
I would say, keep talking about QuickBooks.
Well, I mean, it's a real thing.
It's the industry standard on that. I think that all of it depends on your industry, what type of business, you are, when you're talking about, retail versus restaurant versus, e-commerce, there's so many different tools, that are out there. And I would say point of sale wise, also, whenever you talk about merchant services and things, because that is something that we also offer, QuickBooks is the number one, depending on what you're, looking at on industry. I think that's the hardest part in any time that I do, whether it's a podcast or doing a speaking engagement or something that I get asked to do. I have to know who the target customer, like who the target market is that I'm talking to.
Yes.
Because if I'm at an event and there's, students and there's people that have businesses, people that are W-2, people that have, are in retirement and stuff, everybody has a different risk tolerance and is in a different season of their life. And so I think that's the part that it's just figuring out where you're at. And so tools wise, if you're in a consulting or e-commerce, it's having a CRM, having, QuickBooks, having.
What is a CRM?
Customer. No.
CRM.
Like, what is that stand for?
It's a database.
It's basically where you have your customer management system.
See,
so
all these acronyms, I always shake my head. Like, I know what you're talking about.
Thank you for asking for clarity, and I don't even have the answer for you.
See, well, that makes me feel better.
But somewhere that it's you're tracking as far as your communication with your customers and your calendars or your orders and that sort of thing. Having for us, when we have a team, we do have like a task management. We use ClickUp to keep track of where our clients are with each project that we're working on, and basically making sure that nothing falls through the cracks, because we have things that are done on a weekly basis for clients, monthly basis, quarterly basis, annual. And so having the checklist, and a lot of that is systems and processes. That is one that I will just touch on briefly, as far as no matter what industry you're in a business, having systems and processes in place, SOPs, what we call standard operating procedures is what that stands for. That is the key to so many things, especially when you're talking about scalability.
So you monitor, so you kind of put it all in a system, and you're able to monitor how they're doing and if they're following say it again, the letters again.
CRM? No, SOP.
SOP.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
I'm learning.
Absolutely. And it is it's just a tool, basically, of a checklist, if you will, of like how to do something. So that, for instance, in a restaurant, you have, quality control. As far as if I go to McDonald's, every time I go to McDonald's, I know that my, burger is going to taste the same. It's going to look the same. It's going to have the same sauce and all the stuff on it. If you go to a local restaurant that has, doesn't have quality control, today you go and it tastes different, and there was more cheese on it last time, and there was less of this, and you're like, that's not what I wanted, because that quality control, that's the SOP, if you will, of how much you're putting on a sandwich, if you will, the same way that you would do in a retail store, and how you're selling stuff.
Okay, so that makes sense.
That's a good way to dumb it down.
That's a good way to dumb it down.
I've gotten really good at dumbing things down, because I want to make sure that it's
You understand.
comprehensible and
Yeah.
people understand, because if they
and
don't get
that
it,
makes a lot of sense.
they'll not be able to implement in their business, and then they won't be successful. And then that's where you talked about, how do I deal with that? That's where I take that on, and I've done a really good job over the last years of
learning.
I don't take my clients' successes or their failures as my own.
Okay.
You
That would be
can't.
tough.
You can't. I mean,
can't.
I just stay in the bed all day.
Yeah, I know. Like you can't.
Yes.
You can't.
But I can give them the tools, and I can give them the direction to,
Help
make the
them.
right decisions and make the right plans and goals and stuff.
So like I said, we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but just to kind of put it in a bow, what advice would you give to somebody that was thinking about stepping out and starting a consulting or a service-based business?
For a business, anybody that wants to start a business, I would say business plans are a really good thing. Doing a lot of research. When people call, the number one question I ask is, what's your why? Figure out what your why is.
Yeah.
Figure out, a lot of times it's figuring out where there's a problem and then finding a solution for it, rather than saying, "Oh, I've got this idea," and it's a solution to something that you don't even know how many people have that problem. Going with your gut is a big piece of that, and knowing, because you're the only person that knows, believing in yourself and knowing that you have the drive and the grit and the capacity or to do that. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to call, like I said earlier, community over competition. I tell people literally in every single call when talking to somebody about starting a business, call your competitor. Whether they're here locally or they're outside of this area, call them.
It's very true.
They have so much information that they are usually willing to give, because everybody has an ego.
Everybody likes to tell their story.
Everybody likes to tell their
Everybody
story.
likes to tell their story, even if it is a competition. Yes.
And absolutely. And they will tell you the why, what they did right, what they did wrong. And they will give you a lot of the answers that you will not have to go through those same problems to get to that same result of them, and can kind of, fast track you in some cases.
That's really good advice.
That's one that I always tell them. I'm like, find somebody online even that you like how they do that, and reach out to them and just ask them, because the
It's
worst they can
flattering
do is tell you no.
No, I'm not going to tell you anything. It's always flattering if somebody's asking you advice. So,
well, and why recreate the wheel when somebody else has already done it for you?
That's exactly what I say. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to know everything. You can't. I don't. I mean, I research and learn and, do trainings and all the things to stay with the up and up of all the stuff. Just to touch briefly on like the tax strategy side of it, because I know I do a lot of social media posting about tax strategy, get a lot of comments and things, and that's where we get a lot of our customers from. And it is one that nobody can know all the things. We are constantly learning, constantly understanding, and it's constantly changing. The industry is constantly changing. So staying on top of that and knowing what's coming down the pipeline and being prepared for it. So I would just say, ask questions, get with the right people, make the phone calls and stuff.
keep learning.
And keep learning on that. Absolutely. Get clear on it.
Yeah.
So,
And there's no dumb questions.
no, never.
People always feel like, oh, this is a stupid question. It's like, you can't feel that way.
Because again, nobody can know everything.
Yeah.
And again, where we do in our, with our business, if we don't have the answer, we're going to find it for you. And that's part of the partnership of being, I refer people to other firms and other people that are in my industry that have, because everybody kind of has a niche as far as, what they're really good at. And they're like, I really want to use this software or whatever. I'm like, well, that's not one that we support, but I do know somebody that does. And so we'll refer people out, because I want people to be set up for success and to have the tools that they need. Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. Our fun bonus.
Okay. Since you don't want to talk about music, what's your favorite part of working with your clients besides making their books look beautiful?
I think it is whenever it's so hard being an entrepreneur and it's so rewarding in the same sense, it's having them have that light bulb go off and being able to see them, get that sale and having that aha moment and whatever it is.
Oh, it all makes sense.
It all makes sense, especially when it comes to tax strategy. That is the biggest and the most fun part that we have on the number crunching side of it. It's like, you were going to owe the IRS $187,000, and now you only own 20.
Yeah.
And you're like, you get to take that money and invest that in real estate or in your family or in investments or whatever it is that you want to do with it. And the impact, I think, is the biggest part of that. That is the fun for me, is the impact that can have on not just an individual, but their family, their community. That is, I think, the biggest part that I would say that I want to end with of. That is one of parts of my goals, is having an impact and creating generational wealth and empowering people to be able to have that impact for their future and their families in that aspect and their community.
That's so awesome. I mean, thank you for being here. I learned a lot of things. And I got such like a good perspective of what you do. I mean, I thought I knew what you did, but I'm really glad that you.
I have family members that are like, what do you do? And I'm like, we do a lot of things, but it's very specific.
So now everybody will know exactly what you do and call you for QuickBooks.
Call me for QuickBooks. Call us if you have any business questions, because we can
business
direct
questions.
you.
Thank you for being here, Jamie.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank
Jamie.
That's
You
really
do so
good.
much, not only for your clients, but for the community as well. And
we're
we
grateful.
appreciate everything you give back between your businesses and the nonprofit stuff that you do. It's just, it speaks volume of your character.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.